Welcome to Cardboard Bots. Today we're going to look at KFC's Citizen Stack. This 2014 toy is their interpretation of a masterpiece style Ultra Magnus. The internet tells me that it was designed by a guy named Cassie Sark. He has also done some work for iGear, MMC, and the Unrustables project. The truck appears to be nearly identical to Masterpiece Optimus Prime. Its main difference, besides the color, and that it doesn't transform the same way, is the chrome deer smasher on the front grille. Here it is next to Bad Cube's Huff version 2, Combiner Wars Motormaster, Bad Cube Brawny, Masterpiece Prowl, and Masterpiece Bumblebee. Citizen Stack's vehicle mode is a car carrier. Naturally, it features working ramps and can carry cars. Sort of. You can easily carry 2 vehicles, and if you choose just the right cars, you may be able to squeeze 4 on there. Maybe. The real Masterpiece Ultra Magnus does a much better job at carrying cars. Why does a car carrier need mounted missile pods? I'm not sure, but they are highly maneuverable. They can be pegged onto the front, but you may have to lower the smokestacks. The missile tips twirl, but they are not removable. Nor do they hinder the cab's ability to turn. There are multiple configurations for the missile placement. The cab normally does not separate from the carrier, but if you get underneath the truck, you can remove a small screw and gain freedom of movement. Of course, someone else will have to carry the load if that happens. Huff doesn't really connect, but you can fake it. Here's Optimus alongside Citizen Stack. Perhaps you can move to the other side, Prime. That's better. From that blue bulge on the back, you can see that Citizen Stack suffers from a bit of visual head syndrome, and he has itty bitty gas tanks compared to Prime. As you can see, Prime's bed is taller and longer, so Stack shouldn't be able to tow Prime's trailer. Shouldn't, but again, he can fake it till he makes it. While he's disconnected, it's easy to see how Citizen Stack's torso transforms using all that hollow space in the cab. The key to this is that the wheelbase of the bed is more narrow than that of the front wheels. Go away and get dressed now. We want to see you fully transformed. There is space to store his gun in the top of the carrier, but it does interfere with carrying cars, so let's remove that now. And the missile pods. Yes, this sort of makes him a parts former. You can't avoid it. But the original G1 Ultra Magnus was a parts former too. Lower the stacks, swivel these partitions, untab and hinge the kneecaps away. This will help allow you to swing the arms forward. Extend the legs, rotate the blue chunks to align with the legs. Fold and tab the various panels to form the lower legs. Flip out the toe and the heel spur. Do it all again for the other side. Hinge the gas tanks away, rotate the pelvis 90 degrees. Make sure that these little locking tabs are folded out. Hinge the red bit in on the bottom. Accordion and tab the red section together and fold down the truck cab. Use these red locking tabs to secure it in place. Spin him around and now you have a base mode. Just kidding. Hinge the shoulders back and swing around those arms. Rotate and compress the various parts of the arms. Rotate the head and you're just about done. All that's left is the missile pods. The transformation is not a complex one, but it's a little awkward to do since he's so massive and he has lots of dangly bits. He's pretty impressive once transformed, and his proportions are very heroic. Here's how he looks compared to his G1 animation design, his G1 packaging artwork, and his G1 toy. He's definitely a stylized interpretation with major cues taken from the toy instead of the cartoon. Citizen Stack is the biggest bot that I own. Here's how he compares to Masterpiece Spike, KFC Hi-Fi, Masterpiece Bumblebee, Magic Square's Transporter, X-Transbot's Crack-Up, Yes Model's Ramjet, Masterpiece Black Convoy, X-Transbot's Elegos, and Gigapower's version of Sludge. Some may argue that he is too big. Judging by this comparison photo of the official Ultra Magnus, that would be a valid criticism. In bot mode, the missile pods can move freely, but I prefer to place them in the up position. It's just more polite that way. The pods peg in quite loosely and fall out easily, so for the sake of my sanity, I'm going to remove them for the rest of the review. See? He still looks heroic without them. His head can rotate and look up easily, but he can't look down at all. I have no idea what character he would look up to, but the lack of downward tilt is a major oversight. My recommendation is for people to use the SXS replacement head for this toy. It's more versatile and it looks better. To be honest, this isn't Stack's original face either. Instead, I'm using a faceplate from the Dia Stack redeco of this figure, which has painted blue eyes. The original faceplate has blue light piped eyes, but because the back of the head is not translucent, they were completely in shadow and looked overly dark. Moving on, the shoulders have lots of articulation, limited only by the shoulder pauldrons. There's a swivel above and below the elbow. The elbow gets less than 90 degrees of bend, but it could be as much as 90 if part of the plastic was shaved down a little bit here. I have the wrist gauntlets off to the side, and they do impact the forearm rotation. Alternatively, if you place them underneath the forearm, you can get a full rotation if you bend the arm slightly. The hands have a pretty good range of movement, with multiple joints on the fingers. One finger is independent, while the other 3 are on a base pin. The fingers on my copy were installed improperly. Instead of the pointer finger being independent, it's the pinky finger. It's annoying, but it's still quite functional. You can fake a shoulder butterfly joint by untabbing the arms, but it's not desirable. The chest opens up to reveal a matrix chamber. MP10's matrix fits in there, but it's not included. The waist can rotate a full 360 degrees, no problem. The legs have good range to the side, with a little less range front and back. And those knees don't provide much bend, maybe 45 degrees. The knee pads can hinge a bit, there is some upper thigh swivel, and a full 360 degree rotation under the knee. The toes and heel spurs can pivot decently, but practically speaking, his monstrous boots make him pretty flat-footed. As you could guess, his arms are extendable, which helps him reach further when needed. He got an awesomely painted and sculpted silver rifle that can tab into his palm. He comes with some other bonuses too. One is a beautifully illustrated comic book that doubles as an instructional guide. The other is his spec card. Notice how his face is blacked out in the illustration? The box art was just like this too. I'm guessing KFC did this because they were afraid of attracting Takara's attention. Third-party companies are not shy like that anymore. For a big guy, I can put him through a fairly rudimentary walk cycle. Citizen Stack was a stand-in for a masterpiece Ultra Magnus. He probably has better articulation than the official Takara product, but he suffers from some major setbacks. There's a lack of polish and finish, and I've noticed some paint chipping and rubbing here and there. The missiles coming loose and falling off is a major pain. It almost feels like this is a factory second. The improperly installed fingers seem to support that. This doesn't feel like a masterpiece, but it does feel very toyetic and very playable. It's very sturdy. I don't mind if my kids play with this and end up bumping it around. I got this new for about $65 US on eBay because it was out of fashion, and I think that was a fair price. It's a good toy and a good interpretation of Ultra Magnus. It's never going to be a masterpiece though. Does Citizen Stack stack up for you? What's your favorite interpretation of Ultra Magnus? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching Cardboard Box. See you next time.